meet Ange on the Appalachian Trail. It's day one, first part of the day. We're about, I don't know, an hour.
No, more than an hour. We left at like
6, a little over an hour into the drive. So our goal is to make it into Kansas today, so it's a little bit of a long day. We'll probably end up Wally docking tonight, and then hit a Harvest Host or something the next night, maybe Tulsa tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. One of the things that we're going to do, though, we're going to stop in the Frisco, Colorado area about noon, get some lunch, and maybe hike around a little bit to stretch our legs and kind of get over the sitting in the truck all day, which is good because Race loves the Frisco area. We took a family vacation out there a couple of years ago, and he just fell in love with it.
it's a pretty place. I like it.
Yeah, so he's super excited about the fact that we're gonna stop and do some hiking there. So that's our plans today. Probably record a little bit of the drive and some hiking there once we get into Frisco and go from there. So we're excited. We're on our way. Yay! So we are at the top of Vail Pass. Guys, just gonna get out and go for a little bit of a walk while we're here. Stretch our legs. We're gonna drop down into Frisco here when we're done and probably grab something to eat in Frisco or Silverthorne, somewhere around in there. But for the first little bit, we're gonna go for a walk. So I remember this section of riding this on my bike. We were up here a couple of years ago for a camping trip, family camping trip, and we rode this trail up to the summit here. And I remember this last little bit here, we're only, I don't know, a quarter mile down from the summit, and you've been grinding and grinding, and then you get to these where you just zigzag and have the just back and forth. You know you're almost to the top, but it's just like, oh. And watching some of the cyclists as they're getting closer, they're like, oh, you can tell they're happy they're almost here. It was one of my favorite spots though when we did the ride. Not just because it was close to the end, but it was just kind of a cool place. The only downside is it's so close to the road. You got the downhill freeway on that side, and you got the uphill freeway over on that side, and so you're stuck in between both roads, so it's kind of noisy. Other than that, it's really pretty cool. So there's the view. did our ride of this, we actually didn't get to go back down because we went up to the top and then we went down over the other side to Vail and had lunch in Vail Village. By the time we had done that, we were so wiped out, we're like, we don't want to ride back over the mountain because it's just as steep coming up the other side, maybe worse in some places. And so we had other family members come pick us up. So one of these days I'm gonna have to come back up here so I can ride up this and then back down this section, because it will be a lot of fun to go back down. With all the steep coming up and the zigzags coming back down, that would be a blast. All right, we just finished with our little hike. We got about 2 miles in on there, enough to stretch our legs. It's nice to get out. Thank you. Now we're headed down to find some lunch. It's good because we're both hungry. All right, so I want to do a little wrap up of our first day on the road. So we went a little bit farther than we thought. We actually made it all the way to Hays, Kansas. We were going to stop either Burlington, Colorado, or I don't remember the other place, just over the border in Kansas. But we looked at the time that we had and kind of where we were going the next day, and we thought, what the heck, let's just push it the first day. We'll get as far as we can, which Hays is just about halfway. When Ange and Nancy drove out, they actually drove to Hays as their halfway point. Anyway, we figured we'd get out here, and then that would give us a little bit of time to figure out how and where we wanted to continue the journey and where we wanted to stay. And that's actually kind of part of the fun of this, is that we don't actually know where we're going for sure. We know where we're going to end up, and we know when we need to be there. But we actually don't know the exact route yet, and we don't have anywhere to stay. And so we're really just kind of playing this by ear on our way to get out there. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but kind of fun at the same time. We had a couple hours as we were driving today where I had race on the iPad and this phone, and we were checking the internet between Harvest Host to see what things were available kind of along the route that we thought we wanted to go. All Stays, checking to see what other campgrounds and other stuff were available. Trying to map that against, again, where Ange and Nancy are going to be, or what they think they're going to be. Just trying to get an idea of where we might be going. And at this point, it's kind of like we're like one day ahead of where we may need to be, or where we need to be, maybe. We knew we were going to stay in a Walmart tonight, so we're Wally docking here in Hays. tomorrow we think we're going to do a harvest host, but we called a little bit too late today to be able to get a hold of them, so we left a message on their answering machine, and I'll call them again tomorrow morning if they don't call me first, and we'll verify that we can actually stay at the place we want to stay tomorrow. We actually changed our minds. We were going to stay in a place outside of Tulsa, and couldn't get a hold of them because it was a museum, and the museum's closed because of all of the COVID-19 stuff that's going on. They still haven't opened up yet. And so that's kind of what caused us to change some of our plans. Instead of stopping in Tulsa, we pushed to Hayes, which allows us to push tomorrow farther east. So we think we're going to be staying at a winery. We hope we're going to be staying at a winery in Ozark, I think is where it is, in Arkansas. I need to go back and check. I can always put that in here on the bottom later on once we know for sure. Anyway, that's kind of our plan. This whole by the seat of our pants planning one day ahead is a little nerve-wracking right now. It's got to get better though once we get out there, so that I can have some stable places to work, so I don't have to stress out about where we're going to be staying. I can actually focus on work days while I'm out there needing to be working. But on the way out there, we're kind of winging it. So we'll see how things go tomorrow. Should be a shorter day if we're able to go to this winery that we're looking at, this Harvest Host winery, which allows us to get in a little bit earlier there, enjoy the scenery and the kind of the Harvest Host location, get a little bit of rest, and then plan again for the next day. Figure out where it is we're going to be. Our third night, which we don't know yet. We know the first night we're here, we're Wally Docking. Second night we think is a Harvest Host. Third night we haven't a clue. And fourth night we're still working on figuring that out as well. But anyway, we'll let you know how things go. It's time for bed. See you in the morning.